Aloha, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. 各位先生、女士，大家早安！欢迎各位参加我们今天的咖啡推展会。My name is Alex Lei. I am the Executive Director for State of Hawaii Office in Taipei. 我是雷军，夏威夷州政府台北办事处处长。非常高兴今天各位来参加我们的活动。Today's event, I will be the MC and host in Taipei. And in Hawaii, my good friend Ralph Gasson will be co-host in Honolulu. 那今天我们有2位主持人，我们分别有2场哦。那我是台北主持人，那夏威夷的是 Ralph Gasson。那我们现在是不是看一下这个夏威夷的 ？Okay, Tim, are you ready to share the screen with us?
Yeah.
Okay, Ralph, would you like to say hello to the Taipei audience?
Aloha from Hawaii. Thank you for joining us, and we are very happy to have this first Taiwan virtual coffee trademark. On behalf of the Hawaii Coffee Association and Synergistic Hawaii Agriculture Council, I'd like to welcome you all, and I have a little bit more to say later, but I'm just happy to see everyone here, everyone healthy, and enjoying having you learn a bit about our industry and have some coffees.
Thank you, Ralph. Now I would like to introduce VVIP and Taipei sections. Of course, everybody is our VIP, but we would like to especially acknowledge Director General Douglas Xu from Ministry of Foreign Affairs, 外交部北美司徐司长. Let's give a round of applause. Thank you, Director. I know you're very busy, but thank you for joining us. And also like to introduce and recognize Emily Scott, Agriculture Trade Office, AIT 农业组的组长 Emily. Emily, you also say hello to the Hawaii audience right there, the camera. Okay, thank you. And we thank you all for joining us. And today's we have quite a good turnout. 那今天非常感谢各位来啊，我们有很多代表不同的企业跟公司。And also like to recognize our long-term supporter of Hawaii products and services. Mr. Jason Lee, is he here? Green Bowie? Not yet. Okay, Jessica, so say hello to everybody. 那长期在推展夏威夷的商品啊 ，Jessica. And also Ann Fan, and also Ann, where are you? 来，我们这樊老师他也长期推夏威夷的商品。And Mr. Xie back there, he owns a Maui Coffee Company in Kaohsiung, and lately he branched out to Taipei. So he started like 10 years ago. He's our Hawaii coffee promoter. 谢董事长在高雄啊，他有开了很大的咖啡店，这10年来推展夏威夷的咖啡。John, you want to say hello to everybody? And he is helping us for the sample tasting today. So if it's not good, it's all his fault, not the bean. So bean is 100% from Hawaii. I'm just kidding. Okay, without further ado, Ralph, would you also, yes, I'm sorry. I also like to introduce our friends in Honolulu. First of all, Mr. Dennis Ling, Administrator for Department of Economic Development and Tourism. 另外我要介绍夏威夷商业厅的 Dennis Ling. Dennis, hi, can you say hello to us?
Aloha and ni hao.
你好，这是 Dennis, thank you. 我们一样拍手好不好？然后他们就 say hello, 谢谢。Okay, 因为他们也听得到。And also Timothy Tu from DBEDT, State of Hawaii. Tim.
Hello.
Now, we're very honored to have Director General Michael Zheng in Honolulu, Taipei Economic and Cultural Office. 因为我们请这个檀香山曾处长曾大使。Hi, Michael, are you there?
你好 ，Yeah， 在这里。Hello everyone, Aloha.
Aloha. I like your Aloha shirts. Very colorful. Great. And also James Huang, Huang 组长 from TICO Honolulu. Are you there? James?
大家早安。呀，大家早安。
这是我们中华民国驻这个檀香山办事处啊，这个黄组长跟我们曾大使。 And without further ado, now I will turn the floor to Ralph. So Ralph, can you please introduce our Hawaii audience? 我们请我们 Ralph 在夏威夷跟各位介绍今天参加这个活动的贵宾。Ralph.
Yes. Thank you, Alex. Aloha, everyone, and many thanks to DBEDT and AIT and everyone for attending and making this event possible. I'm Ralph Gaston, the Hawaii Coffee Association's representative on SHAC, where I serve as secretary. Also attending today's conference are my fellow SHAC board member and HCA representative, Darwin Inman, who I don't know is in quite yet, and our SHAC administrator, Suzanne Schreiner. The Hawaii Coffee Association and SHAC are happy to have this event as the reintroduction of our Hawaii coffee industry to the Taiwan coffee community. This is all part of our planned strategy to introduce Hawaii coffees to the Taiwan marketplace. Now, of course, we all had big plans for 2020 that got changed. That's a familiar story, I think. We at the HCA had planned to have a booth at this year's Taiwan International Coffee and Tea Expo, and we also planned a reverse trade mission to invite some of your community members to visit us here in Hawaii, to see our farms and processing mills, taste our coffee, and meet us in person. Now, the world and COVID-19 had other ideas, so we're very grateful to meet you now. All of these plans are still in place, and we're expecting all of them to happen in 2021. While there's nothing quite like visiting our beautiful islands, we do want to do the next best thing, and that's bring a little aloha to you in Taipei. And that's what the Taiwan Virtual Coffee Mart was created for. And for that, I thank Alex, I thank Sam Tang and the DBEDT staff in Taipei and Honolulu for their tireless work in arranging this event. Most of the individuals here we will get to meet because they're presenters. I do want to give a special aloha to Sean Moai over at Hawaii Coffee Company, Ala Kostenko, who is here from the Ka'u region. Darwin, I see, has just joined us from Corner Hills. He is the other SHAC representative. Aloha, Darwin. Gloria Kamba from Ka'u. She is the president of the Ka'u Coffee Growers Cooperative. And everyone else I will introduce individually during their presentations. Speaking of which, we hope you enjoy and have questions and build some potential partnerships here that interest you. We want to build new business bridges between our great islands and your great island. And we see this event as the first step in building a foundation on which a solid relationship can grow. Now, we're happy to have several coffees and coffee products from our growing regions on hand for you to taste. And while you do, I want to give you a visual preview of what you can expect when you visit. And we do want you all to visit. And Tim, you can start rolling now. Please enjoy your coffee. And without further delay, let me give you a brief tour of our 8 coffee growing regions.
Excuse me, Ralph, give me a second. I think you can't wait to do the remark. I'd like you to introduce a Hawaii participant who's online right now. And the video is on the remark later on. So anybody else from on the screen from
yes,
Hawaii side?
I can introduce Dama Hayes.
Say hello.
From Hawaii Coffee Company. Dama, would you like to say hello?
Hello, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Lou Daniele from Ka'u Coffee Mill.
Well, good morning, folks. I guess it's morning over there. Good to be here, and hope you enjoy today's presentation.
Thank you, Lou. Suzanne Schreiner from Lions Gates Farms in Kona.
Aloha, everybody. Thanks for coming out this morning. It's nice to meet you.
Thank you. Michelle Yamaguchi from Wailua Estate on Oahu.
Aloha. I hope you're drinking a lot of coffee, but not too much.
Thanks, Michelle. Greg Still from Monarch Coffee in Kona.
Aloha. We like to see everybody having a good time and enjoying some coffee. Thank you for putting this together, Ralph and staff. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Jean Orlowski of Hollow Tree, 100% organic Kona coffee.
Good morning. Thank you for having us and the opportunity to present all our coffees here from Hawaii.
Thank you, Jean. And finally, Kelly Stewart from Big Island Coffee Roasters.
Hi, everyone. It's so good to meet you and see you, and thank you, Ralph, for inviting us over. I'm sure we're all excited to share what we do with you.
Okay, so thanks, Alex. Yeah, that is our Hawaii group. You'll get to meet some of these folks in more detail during the presentations, and looking forward to getting into that fairly soon.
Thank you, Ralph. 刚刚他介绍了夏威夷的有7位的厂商，他们在线上跟大家 say hello。那么在我们这个 list 上面 agenda also list their companies. So later on you will be able to hear their presentation. Now I will opening remark. First of all, I'd like to invite Mr. Dennis Ling, administrator for DBEDT, State of Hawaii, to say a few words. I'm sorry, we should play the video remark by wonderful administrator from USDA. Let's hear it. 那我们先听一下美国 USDA 从华盛顿 DC 带来的录音的祝贺。Thank you, AIT, for helping us get this video. So please.
Aloha. I'm Ken Isley, Administrator from the Foreign Agricultural Service at the United States Department of Agriculture. I'm happy to welcome you to this event celebrating Hawaiian coffee. Joining us today are 10 coffee companies from across the Hawaiian Islands who are eager to share their delicious brews with you. I know we would all prefer to be meeting in person, whether in Taiwan or even Hawaii, but I'm so thankful we've been able to adapt to new ways of safely doing business during the COVID-19 pandemic. It's encouraging to witness everyone's flexibility and creativity to ensure that events like this still take place. I especially want to thank the Hawaii State Department of Business, Economic Development and Tourism, the Hawaii Coffee Association, and our Agricultural Trade Office at the American Institute in Taiwan for their commitment to today's event. And of course, thank all of you for your time and attention today. I have had wonderful experiences in Taiwan, including when I visited in 2018 to attend the opening of the new AIT facilities, and in 2019 when I led a U.S. agriculture trade mission to Taipei. I was so impressed with the friendly people, the beautiful landscape, and the delicious food I enjoyed in Taiwan. During the 2019 trade mission, I had the pleasure of meeting with representatives of the Hawaii Coffee Association, and I'm so happy to be with all of you again today in support of Hawaii and its fine coffee. During my last trip to Taiwan, I was surprised at the number of coffee shops. It seems that there's one on every corner, and the United States is proud to be the #1 supplier of roasted coffee beans to Taiwan. American coffee in Taiwan's cup is a perfect representation of our truly great relationship, and we hope today's event will expand upon that partnership. Coffee is grown in more than 80 countries around the world, so we know you have a choice. But today, I hope you learn about what makes Hawaii coffee so exceptional. For one, Hawaii is known worldwide for its gourmet, 100% Kona coffee. But true coffee lovers know that Kona is only part of the story. In the last century, Hawaiian coffee producers have broken new ground in flavors and growing techniques. As you may know, Hawaii is the only state in the United States that grows coffee. This means our farmers maintain close control over the product throughout the entire production chain, from bean to cup. In today's import-export market, this is a rare treat. I think we can all agree that Hawaiian coffee is a high-quality product. Hawaii's geographic location and high cost of production means that farmers do not compete in the high-volume, rock bottom price market. Rather, Hawaii coffee producers focus on superb quality and creating the best tasting coffee in the world for consumers. We understand that Taiwan's consumers are health conscious. You should know, and I'm sure you will taste for yourself, that Hawaii coffee is so flavorful it can easily stand on its own without added sugars, sweeteners, or other additives. In closing, I want to again express my appreciation to all of you taking part in this event, whether virtually or in person. I wish you great success in all of your business endeavors. Thank you and aloha.
Mahalo 谢谢，我们非常感谢这个美国农业部这个行政长特别的 remark。那么 then I would like to ask Mr. Dennis Lin to give a first opening remark. Dennis, please.
Aloha and ni hao. My name is Dennis Ling. I'm the administrator of the Department of Business, Economic Development and Tourism. Welcome to the Taiwan Hawaii Virtual Mart. I apologize, I don't have as nice of a background as the previous speaker. What you see is my humble office. But I appreciate you and attending with us today. And it is our honor to have so many guests from Hawaii and Taiwan virtually for this special event. On behalf of the state of Hawaii, I would like to thank the Agriculture Trade Office of the American Institute in Taiwan, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Hawaii Coffee Association and their members, and all of the buyers present from Taiwan. Today, we have gathered coffee experts from Hawaii and Taiwan to meet in one place. The time is right for us to introduce, or shall I say, reintroduce Hawaii coffee to the Taiwan market. The time is also right for us to let the buyers in Taiwan taste and know more about Hawaii's premium coffee. Coffee is one of Hawaii's signature crops in the state. We can provide premium coffee to suit different market tastes. Although we are in the middle of a pandemic, we will continue to seek opportunities to export coffee products, especially to Taiwan. By the way, Taiwan is our sister state, so we have a very special connection with Taiwan, and we'd like to share this special connection through our coffee. More than that, also DBEDT would also like to invite and welcome buyers from Taiwan to visit the farms in Hawaii in the next year during a trade mission. We will provide you with an experience to see the farms and meet the farmers in person. Of course, if you are interested to talk with any of our farmers at today's presentation and tasting, we can help make that connection for you and make it happen. Again, thank you so very much for being here today. Please enjoy the virtual coffee mart. Please enjoy the coffee that you're drinking. And please think about visiting Hawaii in the very near future. Mahalo and sheshe.
Thank you, Dennis. In brief translation for the audience here, 刚刚这位是夏威夷商业厅的行政长，那他特别表达感谢各位今天的出席。夏威夷跟台湾是姐妹州，我们有非常良好的互动。那夏威夷的咖啡呢，在台湾市场呢也渐渐的受欢迎。那夏威夷的咖啡是非常具有很高的 quality。那夏威夷的咖啡，希望借着各位的推广，可以让更多台湾的朋友认识到夏威夷的咖啡。同时，我们今年本来要办这个邀请厂商去夏威夷考察。就是考察不同的产地，直接跟农场来做这个接洽。但是因为疫情的关系，我们今年没有办。但是我们明年我们会办 reverse mission， 我们会邀请一些厂商呢去夏威夷来参观、来考察我们的农场。他也再次表达谢谢各位的参加。Thank you. Next, I would like to invite ATO Director Emily Scott to say a few words. Emily, please.
Thanks, Alex. Ni hao, zao. Aloha to Hawaii. 不好意思，我的中文不太好，所以可是我知道我喜欢喝咖啡，我爱喝拿铁，我特别喜欢喝 Hawaii coffee. So that's the end of my Chinese, but I consider myself an expert on coffee. I love coffee, and I'm so excited to be here today with you. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your schedule. Thank you to our Hawaii guests. Thank you to our special guests. Thank you to Ralph and Alex and Mr. Xu for being here today. I'm Emily Scott. I'm the director of the Agricultural Trade Office in Taiwan at AIT, Meguazai Taishihui. As the director of the Agricultural Trade Office, our base function is to promote U.S. agricultural exports overseas. We do that through a variety of means, whether it be seminars, tastings such as this event. We promote fruit, wine, beer, and today we're especially excited to promote coffee. I have a great staff, and we put out a lot of wonderful and free information. If you ever have any questions about the American exports or about the Taiwan market, please let us know, and we're happy to help. Taiwan's coffee drinking culture is strong, but with tremendous growth opportunity. It's expected to continue to rise at an exponential pace. Coffee consumption is not only a part of the everyday routine, it is also a part of celebratory, fun events for the youth in Taiwan as they explore their social media presence for an Instagrammable lifestyle. The Taiwan Coffee Association states that Taiwan's growing coffee industry reflects strong potential. Taiwan consumers on average drink 160 cups per year, which they must not be taking me into consideration there because I'm far more than that. And Taiwan at 160 cups per year is far less than the global average of 200 cups per year. Excuse me, they only have 130 cups a year, which is significantly less. So really we're seeing tremendous growth potential. In Taiwan, coffee is widely available in a variety of retail outlets. As you know, in the room here, Taiwan has the most convenience stores per capita in the entire world. Those convenience stores are open 24 hours a day for the readily available simple cup of coffee. Also, Taiwan, as my administrator mentioned, is home to a variety of unique, independently owned coffee shops where you can get a more exclusive, more unique cup of coffee to your taste. We have wholesalers here, such as Costco. They're selling whole beans and ground coffee. And we also have the familiar chains such as Starbucks. So there's many outlets for coffee products in Taiwan, and there's a growing consumer base to drink that coffee. Taiwan's production cannot meet the local demand. Taiwan only produces about 15% of what the consumers demand. The coffee farms in Taiwan are primarily tourism focused, which is also great. We love the tourism angle, and I'm so excited to visit Hawaii. I'm taking that invitation personally, and we'll be there as soon as I can, maybe on the Hawaii coffee trip. That sounds wonderful. In Taiwan, imported coffee was valued at about $180 million in 2019. As my administrator mentioned, we're very happy that the United States is the #1 supplier of roasted beans to Taiwan. That's a market position that we value, and we continue to work hard to promote that position. Green beans, however, on the other hand, are primarily provided by countries such as Brazil and Indonesia. As you heard the administrator mention, Hawaii is the only state in the United States that grows coffee. It's known worldwide for its gourmet Kona coffee. Consumers in Taiwan are looking for a more distinct, unique blend, and I believe Hawaii, Kona, and their other blends are happy to meet that. My administrator mentioned the trade mission that he led to Taiwan. I believe he met some Hawaii coffee producers, some Hawaii coffee associations here, and he was very excited to do so. That's merely one of the tools in the toolbox that my ATO office has. So again, we are here to help you. We are here to serve the state of Hawaii. Alex knows how to reach us. So if you ever have questions on the US market, if you ever have questions on the Taiwan market, please let us help. And until then, thank you very much again for being here. 谢谢. And I hope you enjoy the coffee. I know I will, and we're very excited to hear from the businesses in the Hawaii side. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to invite Director General Douglas Xu, North American Affairs, Ministry of Foreign Affairs。那么接下来我们请外交部北美司徐司长为我们讲几句话。徐司长，请。
Thank you, Alex, and good morning, everybody. Well, say hello to friends and colleagues, Ambassador Zheng and James in Hawaii. It's my pleasure to be invited to today's event. And well, indeed, the schedule is crazy in foreign ministry, especially now is at the peak of the budget season. And we're going to have this a first time ever U.S.-Taiwan Economic Prosperity Partnership Dialogue coming up this Friday. So things are, well, extremely busy in foreign ministry. However, who will be able to turn down the invitation with the combination of two words, Hawaii and coffee, right? So in the past few months, we all see that because of the pandemic, well, it prevented us from doing those things that we used to take for granted. The flow of service, goods, and people has been, well, slowed down, if not totally stopped. So today I'm particularly happy to see that you bring up this great event, I mean, hybrid event. Not only will we be able to meet with friends and businessmen from the other end of the world, but we also can physically be in this room, get together and smell the aroma of coffee. So I, on behalf of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Republic of China, Taiwan, I wish a successful event today. And also I'd like to let you know that Foreign Ministry is taking our share to facilitate people doing business. Per the request of the Hawaiian government, we are now working with major hospitals here in Taiwan to provide this a certificate for those businessmen who would like to travel to Hawaii. So with those pre-trip test, PCR test, you will be able to enter the Hawaiian border without, well, have to spend days in quarantine. So, well, we are working on that and stay tuned for that. And at the same time, enjoy the show today of this wonderful Hawaiian coffee Mart. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Director General Xu, for your kind remark. I would also like to extend our appreciation to Ministry of Foreign Affairs, providing a booth opportunity at Taipei Food Show next month, December 17th to 20th. 在这里我要特别感谢外交部有赞助夏威夷州参加美国的这个食品展，食品展在12月17到20。And then we love to see you all there, December 17 to 20. Visit U.S. Pavilion. There's a lot of U.S. products available on site. Thank you, Douglas Xu, Director General. Okay, Rolf, I know you'll be anxious to do your remark. Now is your turn. 现在我把这个时间交给夏威夷咖啡协会的 Rolf， 他会做一个简介。同时，现在之后我们有7家厂商会做线上说明。各位可以看到这个表上7家的厂商的顺序，他们来自不同的岛，不同岛上面的农场。So Rolf will have his remark, introductions, then he will be in charge moderating the presentation. There will be 7 presenters representing on different islands, different farmers. So Rolf, are you there?
I am here.
Okay, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay, all right, we'll try this again. I think I'm in the right spot this time. So we are really happy to have several coffees and coffee products from our growing regions on hand for you to taste. And while you do, I'd like to give you a visual preview of what you can expect when you visit. And we want you all to visit. So please enjoy your coffees. And without any further delay, let me give you a brief tour of our 8 coffee growing regions. And Tim, you can start the video.
那接下来我们要放一个 video， 让各位看一下不同的农场的风貌在夏威夷。
Okay, we're going to begin in Oahu, the gathering place where coffee was first introduced to the islands back in the early 1800s. Chief Boki, the governor of Oahu, brought plants from Brazil in 1825 and successfully planted them in Manoa Valley. Most of Oahu's coffee production is on the north shore between the towns of Wahiawa and Waialua. You're going to learn more about this in our presentation. There are also smaller coffee farms in Oahu that are vital parts of our research and development operations, and they're equally valued members of our coffee economy. The Kona district sits on the eastern side of Hawaii Island and is part of that island's lesser known but storied coffee history. By the late 19th century, coffee was the chief agricultural crop of Puna, with about 2,400 hectares operated by roughly 200 independent coffee farmers and 6 incorporated companies. Puna's coffee production was replaced by sugarcane in the 20th century, but it made a big comeback in the last decade. Farms here are between 90 and 790 meters in elevation. To date, Puna has roughly 50 hectares of coffee run by smaller farms and varietals like Tipika, Tatura, and Tatuai. And you'll meet an award-winning operation that is based in Puna during our presentation. The Ka'u district also has a history of coffee that was caused by sugarcane operations. When Big Sugar left Ka'u in 1996, the former plantation workers returned to coffee with the promising crop in a land known for agriculture. The move to coffee became a success, with several Ka'u farms turning statewide and international boards. Now, Ka'u features over 200 hectares of multiple varieties, and more are currently being planted, managed, and processed by many small farms and a few larger operations, one of which you'll meet shortly. The first large-scale plantings on the island of Kauai started in 1987, but Kauai has had coffee since 1842, which was planted in Hanalei Valley. There are approximately 3 farms, with one being the largest farm in the U.S. The smaller coffee farms are hand-picked, and the largest is mechanically picked using modified blueberry harvesters, and we'll meet this farm and operation in the presentation. Kona is, of course, Hawaii's biggest and best-known growing region. Coffee was first planted in Kona in the early 1830s as an ornamental. Then commercial coffee production in Kona took hold, and it remains the only region in the state where coffee has been in commercial production from that first planting to the present day. Kona features more than 630 farms ranging in elevation from 150 to 915 meters. The district includes some larger farming operations, but it is well known for its hundreds of small, independent coffee growers. Kona coffee is internationally known and commands some of the highest prices in the world. Kona Tipika is, of course, the best known and featured varietal, but in recent years, other varietals have also added to the diversity and prestige of this growing region. We have a few Kona farms in our presentations to add more details. Maui has close to 243 hectares in total coffee production. Now, most of this is in large commercial production on the west side of the island, but there are about 40 hectares that are run as smaller, independently owned farms as well. Maui coffee farmers grow many different varietals, which include Tipika, Tatuai, Tatura, and Bourbon, and the one varietal is probably known best for, which is Maui Mocha. The Valley Isle features some of the state's most awarded coffees, as well as smaller Maui farms from the upcountry region that have earned top honors in recent statewide cupping competitions. The Hamakua region, which is on the northeastern portion of the Big Island, has had coffee since 1852. At one time, there were over 400 hectares of coffee in this region before fires and sugarcane lowered coffee production in the area. Similar to Puna and Ka'u, coffee in the Hamakua region began to come back once the sugar industry left the Big Island in the 1990s. Hamakua is a cool, high rainfall, red soil-based coffee growing region with smaller average farm sizes, mostly between 2 and 4 hectares. The Hamakua region is not as developed as other former sugarcane areas on the Big Island, but it is known for good quality and has lots of potential. Our final island is Molokai, which is known as the Friendly Isle. Molokai sits between Maui and Oahu and is home to a small population of about 7,500 residents. Molokai is also home to a 120-hectare plantation and mill, which was established in the 1980s in the village of Pulapu'u and is planted mostly with red katuai, which was chosen as an ideal varietal for this elevation and soil. That is a introductory look at our 8 Hawaii coffee growing regions. I hope you enjoy, and I hope you have questions, and we'll get to those later on in the event. But I wanted to go ahead and begin to introduce the 7 companies we've chosen to showcase the diversity of our growing regions. So to start, I wanted to go to a highly rated 100% organic Kona coffee operation, Hala Tree Kona Coffee. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome John Orlowski.
Thank you, Ralph. Good morning, everybody. It's been an honor, and I really appreciate the opportunity here to present our farm and our operation. I will share my screen. Okay, it should work. All right. So let's start with Hala Tree at a glance. We've started our operation here in Kona in 2012 by buying a small 6-acre farm. Me and my wife, Danielle, we didn't know anything about coffee. I had a previous career traveling worldwide. So in 2012, we started with 6 acres, and today we're running approximately 100 acres that we have under management. All our operation is certified organic. We had our certification in 2014, so it's USDA certified organic. As you probably know, that in the USDA certification is one of the most transparent and one of the certification that's quite difficult to get around the world. So when you buy coffee actually from us, you know exactly what it is. So no pesticide and everything that's attached to it. We're audited a few times a year, so you know exactly what you're buying. What's important also when we talk about Hala Tree is that we're processing end-to-end. So we do everything from farming to cup. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in the next few slides. We only do Kona coffee. We all talked about all the other coffees here in Hawaii, but we are located here in Captain Cook. We have multiple fields, but we only do 100% Kona coffee. That's the one that you know, that's the one that's really the traditional coffee. And I'll give you also a few examples of the different things we do with our coffee. In the past 5 years, we are in the top coffees here in the different local competitions. So anywhere in the, I would say in the top 10 in the past 5 years. And that's very important, again, because it proves consistency overall. We also scored on Coffee Review between 92 and 95, and we have a few other coffees that are coming this year. So every year in the past 2-3 years, we are at the 93, 95 score. So quality and consistency, as I say, is everything. When you buy a coffee as a buyer, you want to make sure that when you buy a bag of coffee today or in 3 months, you will have exactly the same bag of coffee. We do some very small batches, but in general, what we're selling as a wholesale, even if they're small batches, we want to make sure that there is consistency. So you know exactly what you're getting. We don't buy cherries from any other farms. We only manage our own land and we do everything. So that's really to ensure the quality. We've tried multiple ways when we started at the beginning to buy cherries and to do other things with our operations, but we found that it's very difficult actually to get consistency with that. So we've decided to basically develop our land and to grow this way. As I say, we are exclusively 100% Kona. I'll talk a little bit more about our different coffees, because even if we're 100% Kona, you have the traditional Kona that everybody knows with the Kona Typica, but we can do a lot of things with the Kona. And today the demand is to have diversity, and I'll talk also a little bit more about that. We do, of course, for quality, we do internal copying as well as third party. All our batches are small batches that are freshly roasted. We don't do large batches. We want to make sure, again, that the quality is at the top end of the scale. We also leverage technology. I'll mention that a little bit more also in the next few slides, to trace our coffee. So again, when we sell our coffee, we want to make sure that you have the whole story behind. And that's not only a story that we tell you, but basically we can give you all the data behind and all the audits that is done by USDA and by third party. And that's very important. You probably heard about all the stories with Kona. Again, when you buy a Kona coffee, you want to make sure of what you're buying. Again, whatever it is, blend or not blend, what's important is the transparency behind. So innovation. So I mentioned today in the current market, if we look about, let's say, 10 years ago or even 5 years ago, in Kona, most of the time you were finding Kona Typicas and the traditional Kona, and that was enough. Today, the demand have evolved, and we have a lot of different demands from people. They want different types of coffee. So we had also to adapt. How do we do that? So even by staying 100% Kona coffee, we've planted different types of trees. Today we have about 7 types of trees. So we have, of course, the Kona Typica. We're about 65% Kona Typica. The rest, we have some Geisha coming from Panama. We have some red bourbon. We have some SL28 or SL34 now. We have some Pacamara. We have some Maragogipe. So we have different types of trees. Every type of trees has a different taste. Now that's not enough also. We can also do different types of processing. Again, we do everything in-house. So we do everything from traditional wash fermented to the specialty coffee with anaerobic fermented and any kind of other fancy method in terms of processing. We of course do micro batches. The micro batches, I'm also completely transparent, are not available for wholesale. Again, I'm giving you the same speech I'm giving to all my clients. The micro batches are really done for marketing. In all of us, we do micro batches basically to have a high score somewhere. And that's coming back to everything I say about quality on the traditional coffee. So we have micro batches that are scoring very high, but we also have the traditional coffee that are scoring also very high. But this one is available in quantity. The micro batches usually are more in the 100, 200, 300 pounds lots. As I said, our coffee is fully traceable. So you can see here on the screen, you have a QR code. You can scan it with your phone and you will see actually what you can get. So here I have also an example. Every bag of coffee, I don't know if you can, well, I'm sharing my screen. So after that, I'll show you our bags of coffee. But every bag of coffee is coming with the QR code. When you scan it, you're coming to a page like this one. The page actually will give you all the details about the coffee, so what it is, when it was roasted, and that's very important. Again, that's been, you know, that specialty coffee actually should not be drink, 6 months after you buy it. We try to do it within a short period of time. So we give the roasting date, so not a good until, but a roasting date. You have actually a small movie also of whoever roasted the coffee. And you can see everything, even the map of the field. If you click actually on the different map, you can see the Google map and so on. Coming back to my presentation, from the inside. So we do all this, and again, we have the supporting documentation behind, of course. So innovation is very important. We try, to appeal actually to all the clientele that you probably have in your store. When we sell you coffee, you can use all those tools actually for your clients. Here you can see all the coffees we have, actually more than that, that's just a picture. but we have 12 standard coffee plus all the micro batches. So the standard coffee are of course the traditional coffee with the different roasts. We have all the different combinations between the roasts and the processing methods that I've mentioned. And we also do custom roast. We are not actually master roasters, but we know our beans. We talk to our clients. We're only roasting our beans. So we are really specialized in that. And we know that nobody can roast them as good as we do. One of the main reasons is simple, is that we talk to our clients. We know what they like. We know our bean because we're producing them. We don't need actually to do a new sample each time we have a new batch because we know our coffee. We have some green available, but usually in small batches. That's not our focus. We have some green, mainly in prime. We don't do actually higher grade in terms of green. On the side also, we have some tea. So we have a Mamaki tea. I know it's not the subject today, but again, we have some. But we have the Cascara, which is related to coffee. It's a tea actually that's done from the skin of the coffee, which is also very good, and we have a high demand on it. You can also see our scoring here on Coffee Review, and you can see those scoring are from 2020. They are not from 18, they are not from 15. Every year we have those new scores. So here I'll show you also our bags of coffee, so you can see them. I don't know if you can see them, but again, you have those bags. So every bag actually has the label where we give you the tasting notes. And for every bag here behind, you have, as I say, the QR code that you can scan and have the whole story of the coffee. Our bags are coming in 1 pound. They're coming in 8 ounces. And again, as I say, they're available during the whole year. I think we are large enough to be able to supply it during the whole year and not only during a short time of a period of time during the year. So thank you for listening. And again, that's when I'll be here at the end to answer any questions.
Thank you, Jean. Thank you very much for that. And
hello, Ralph. Give me 1 second.
Sure.
I'd like to remind the audience, we have a form attached. So please fill in your contact information and the company you are interested. So after the meeting, we will collect it. We will send it to the seller, the farmer. 那么各位可以看啊，桌上我们第2页有一个表格。那么上面呢有第1页是行程哦，上面有7家公司，按照顺序。如果待会的简报你对哪一家公司特别有兴趣，麻烦您注记。那我们会将他们的联络方式提供给各位，各位可以直接做联络。刚刚第1家的呢，这个他介绍是 100% Kona Coffee。Thank you, Ralph, please.
yes, thank you, Alex. I wanted to follow up on what you said, that in addition to the presenters today, there are a few other coffee samples that are present from companies such as Hawaii Coffee Company and Silver Cloud Ka'u Coffee. If they are interested in meeting them or anyone else on the list of attendees today, please feel free to reach out to everyone. We're happy to talk to all of you. We want to spread it as much as possible. Okay. From Kona, we wanted to go to the next presentation, which is on the eastern side of the Big Island, where you can meet the 2013 Hawaii Coffee Association's Grand Champions. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce Kelly Stewart of Big Island Coffee Roasters.
Great. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me all right? Thumbs up. Sweet. Great. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, so we're Big Island Coffee Roasters. I'm going to start by giving you a little background about our company, about why we do what we do, the types of things we feature, our story, and then also tell you about the region of coffee that we represent, and the region of coffee where our roastery and farm is, as well as some specialty products that we offer. So as I said, we're Big Island Coffee Roasters. We're a specialty Hawaii coffee roaster, farm, and micro mill. We were established in 2010, so we're around 10 years old, and we're located on the east side of the Big Island. I'm a licensed Arabica Q grader, and between my partner and I and the people in our facility, we have 4 certifications from the SCA. I'm a SCA, and that's Specialty Coffee Association certified roaster, intermediate, certified barista in green coffee, and of course, coffee brewing. Although we are a coffee farm, we don't wholesale green coffee very often, and we don't wholesale or offer our roasted coffee from our farm very often outside of to our internet customers, direct to consumer. And so all of our other coffees are sourced from fantastic growers around Hawaii. So giving you kind of an idea of where we came from a place where in 2010, we were involved in the specialty coffee community. And what that means is places like Blue Bottle and Stumptown, and they're doing a lot of pour over. Specialty coffee is one in which coffees are rated based on their consistency and their cleanliness, and whether or not they score over 80 points on a 100-point scale. Usually specialty coffees are single origin and they're very high grade. And at that time in 2010, when we started our business, the market share for specialty coffee sold in the US was about 40%. But when we came to Hawaii, we noticed that most of Hawaiian coffee was thought of as a souvenir, and it was blended, and we saw that there was really an opportunity to showcase specialty, authentic Hawaiian coffee from all different regions. And so that's where we came up with Big Island Coffee Roasters. So today we source coffees from all around Hawaii, all different islands, and we're located in this island. Again, a part of our story and history is that at the time that we began building our business, we noticed that farmers in Hamakua and Puna and even Ka'u were sending their coffee over to Kona mills, and that was effectively being counterfeited as Kona coffee. And we realized that the reason that was being counterfeited was because these regions didn't have a name of their own, and the farmers couldn't effectively sell the coffee for what it was worth. So we began working with farmers, particularly in Hamakua and Puna, to improve the quality of their coffee so that we felt comfortable selling the coffee and offering it to our customers. And that is how we grew. And so now we like to say that we are wild and beautiful Hawaiian coffees for wild and beautiful people. So here's some of the coffee that we currently offer. We of course have Kona pea berries. We have one of the higher rated Kona pea berries. We have a beautiful Wood Valley single estate produced by one of the guests here, Morago Hipe, which is a giant bean coffee. One of our very popular Hawaiian coffees is this blend. It's a 100% Hawaiian blend from all regions. We also do lovely little gift boxes and some unique items like a barrel-aged Puna coffee. And our barrel-aged Puna coffee last year placed on Coffee Review's top 30 of 2019 list. So that was quite special. So here's one of the people here today, Ala. We feature her coffee and their coffees in blogs and stories. So we purchase coffees from all around Hawaii. We tell the story of the coffee. We tell the story of the producer. We mill it in small batches and roast it. And so for instance, when we receive a coffee from Ala, we don't mill it and then 6 months later roast it. We mill, grade, optically sort, roast, then we date stamp the bag with the roast date and send it out within usually a few weeks. So it's super fresh, and I'll explain a little bit more about what that means. And here's another one of the coffees that we feature. It is a Kona Geisha by Monarch Farms, who is also here today. And so we got a chance to, of course, purchase their coffees from them and roast them and send them out to our coffee club and to all of our customers. And of course, when we do that, we do take the marketing material that the farm produces and try to include that in our gift boxes so that we're really spreading more awareness, not just of our brand and our company, but all the beautiful and sexy coffees in Hawaii, all the regions, and the people behind them. So to kind of sum it up here, we specialize in showcasing variety, innovation, high-rated coffees, and direct trade relationships. We showcase all of the regions that we can, where we can find a high-rated specialty coffee. We mill in small batches. We roast to order, so you won't find any roasted inventory when you purchase coffee from us. It's not going to be sitting around for a month, and I'm pretty sure that almost everybody in this is in that same kind of specialty coffee boat where they're roasting and then sending, so that when people get coffee, we're getting the best possible experience. So we also make a creamy edible coffee bar called Espresso Bites, and I'll tell you a little bit about that in a moment. Our customers, the people who enjoy our coffee most, that come back time and time again, are foodies, aficionados, and travelers. Today we are in 66 Whole Foods locations, and we have, well, they have plans to introduce us to more Whole Foods locations next year, as well as some other stores on the mainland. We were in DFS. I mean, now, you know, now that we're in COVID, things have kind of slowed down, but we're in DFS, Dean & DeLuca, Foodland. We tend to do very high-end resorts, 5-star hotels, specialty shops and cafes. And next year, we're being introduced to Lawson's Natural Foods. They want to bring on some of our products. So that's something that's happening in 2021. And today we're a 7-figure e-commerce business. So this is just all the direct-to-consumer sales. So like I said, we haven't exported a whole lot. We really focus on roasted coffee, especially within the United States. And of course, we'd love to work with folks in Taiwan. Right now, we're really enjoying serving roasted coffee to folks on the mainland, to coffee lovers on the mainland. So we mill, grade, optically sort, roast, cup, and ship. We do it all, and I think that there are a couple other places here today that do as well. So that's the vertical integration. Like I said, all happens within a short period of time in order to keep the process or the coffee very fresh. Right now, we source from approximately 25 different growers across Hawaii. Some are very small and some are very large. Of course, like I said, we grow ourselves, and we also produce different types of coffees. And of course, have a high export capacity for roasted coffee and espresso bites. So a little bit about the Puna district. We were grand champion in the Hawaii Cupping competition in 2013. The coffee growers in Puna grow all different kinds of beans, less so Typica, but with the different coffees, we produce a honeyed yellow Caturra, a Puna natural, yeast processed Punas, pink Bourbon. For whatever reason, coffee in Puna tends to produce a very high percentage of pea berry, and I can show you a video about that here in a moment. We have high rainfall. We have young volcanic rock, not very much soil. We're on the smaller lots, so about 3 to 5 acres or up to 2 hectares. Typical varieties include Caturra, Catuai, Pache, and less so Typica. You often find notes of almond, rose, soil, melon, sometimes things like cranberry. It depends on the soil, it depends on the growing location. But for the most part, almond and mineral notes are pretty common. And we tend to have larger beans because of the heavy rainfall. And so the percentage of both extra fancy or 19 screen and pea berry is a bit higher than other origins and locations I've noticed. And this is also a really fast growing district due to land being quite affordable. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the samples that I sent, which is Espresso Bites. So this is an edible coffee. There's no chocolate in it, 0% chocolate, 100% Hawaiian coffee. Essentially, it is ready to eat coffee that you can enjoy by the bite or melt in hot water and sip like espresso. We have about a 2-year shelf life. There's 2 to 3 shots per bar. 2 vegan varieties, one made with organic milk, and they're quite low sugar. So with you being, you know, we're very interested in health, and it sounds like you are as well. And so, yeah, that's a very low sugar product. So some of the publications and enthusiasm we've received about espresso bites include this shop in South Korea who was so excited that they made a life-size poster of espresso bites. It's been on the cover of a lot of different magazines, of course, here in Japan. And then it's been Honolulu's staff favorite, as well as a couple of other magazines. So we can see, again, a lot of enthusiasm about espresso bites because it's such a new product. We make this with Ka'u coffee and Maui coffee. And again, it's 100% Hawaiian coffee. There's no chocolate, there's no Brazilian coffee. It's just 100% Hawaiian. Okay, and that's it for that. Now let's stop the screen share. Okay, and so these are the bags. And here are the espresso bites. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see very much, but essentially they look just like chocolate. And yeah, that's it. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much, Kelly.
Yeah.
Alex, did you want to make a remark or should I keep going? If you have the espresso bites there, which you should give them a try. They're really delicious, folks. Trust me. Whenever I can, I get a bite. I buy them and eat them. Okay. Well, next we're going to stay with the Big Island and head south for the fast-growing Ka'u coffee region. We want to meet the district's largest coffee operation. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ka'u Coffee Mill.
Great. Good morning, folks. My name's Lou Daniele. I'm the general manager of Ka'u Coffee Mill. And if you can assist me in moving the frames when I act, that would be great. Just go back one, please. Yeah, thank you. Since I am not as tech savvy as some of you other folks, and this is relatively new to me, doing PowerPoint and this sort of thing. So I will proceed. Again, welcome to Ka'u Coffee Mill. We are the district's largest coffee mill seed to cup operation. We're award-winning 100% Ka'u coffee coming out of Pahala, Hawaii. We are an Olson Trust company. Next frame, please. Now, the Olson Trust, too. Is dedicated to the thriving of Hawaii into the future. The M&C Olson Trust, too, is a private landowner investment in sustainable agriculture, management, natural resource conservation, community development, education, cultural legacy, preservation, and renewable energy, stewarding approximately 15,650 acres of prime agricultural and conservation land. The trust creates and oversees subsidies aligned with its vision. Our companies each contribute to the preservation of Hawaii's agriculture and conservation heritage with a distinct mission and product. Next slide, please. This is a picture of our founder and owner, M&C Olson. Ed presently is 90 years old, and he really is the driving force behind a lot of what you see going on in the coffee industry in Hawaii. Next slide. I'll just read this for you. Businessman M&C Olson wanted to do something to help the struggling rural coffee farmers who had to haul their coffee beans to the district, to other district mills. draining valuable resources in the process. Olson knew if he could give these coffee farmers an opportunity to process beans closer to home, they would have a much better chance of success. So he built the Ka'u Coffee Mill, where Ka'u coffee farmers are now bringing their cherries to be sold and their parchment to be milled and roasted. It's also important to note that he acquired all this land from the former sugar company, C. Brewer, and he purchased all this land in the early 2000s. And so he really saw a need for the district to, number one, build their brand, which we hadn't had the opportunity before to do, and to establish a mill and a roastery down here in Ka'u. Next slide, please. Thank you. So Ka'u Coffee Mill is a full service mill providing services and retail sales, supporting the local farmers since 2010. Next slide. Yes. So Ka'u Coffee Mill works with local farmers to provide specialty coffee, as well as cultivating its own line of award-winning coffee from seed to cup. Ka'u Coffee Mill presently has 86 acres or 34.8 hectares of coffee under our direct control. We also lease 250 acres to approximately 40 other coffee farmers down here. So not only does the mill have its own coffee, but we're leasing land out at a very reasonable rate to these folks to grow coffee as well. So again, a part of Ka'u Coffee Mill's mission and the Olson Trust mission is to support, help, and to excel these folks in the coffee industry down here. So Ka'u Coffee Mill offers a wide variety of specialty roasts, including wash medium, semi-wash medium dark, natural, peaberry medium, honey Italiano, Vienna Bourbon, and many more. We actually have 12 different roasts that we have developed over the years down here. We feel that it's something that is really important to have these distinct roasts and these distinct processes that not a lot of folks do. So we do a lot of naturals. We're really known for naturals. We've been doing it since our conception. And most people who have never had a natural coffee really enjoy it because of the extremely different notes that a natural coffee provides. Next slide, please. So again, we are a seed to cup coffee mill. And basically that means that we're growing the coffee, we're harvesting it, we're processing it in our mills, we are drying it, we're dry milling it, we're roasting it, we're packing it, and we're selling it all under one roof. This slide that you're looking at shows our large capacity Pinalense dryers in our drying house. So again, wet milling, dry milling, roasting, and retail. All of these, we have services, so we provide service to all the local farmers for dry milling, roasting, optical sorting. So again, we are a hub down here in terms of having the farmers come to us for all their needs. Roasting, technical support, agricultural support, agronomy, husbandry, so all of those things we help support the local Ka'u farmer. There's a lot of issues with coffee, certainly with the coffee leaf rust that has popped up in our state. And so again, Ka'u Coffee Mill takes a very strong leadership role in stewarding and guiding the coffee farmers through difficult situations. Next slide, please. We also have a full retail shop with a full espresso bar. So we're very proud of our little shop down here at the mill. Last year we we did a tremendous amount of business out of this little store, and we have a wide range of products that we sell. Next slide, please. So some of you can see our on the left side of this slide, you can see our different beans and processes. So the wash, the semi, and the naturals in their different stages, the parchment, the green bean, and then finally the roasted product. On the right-hand side of the slide, we have one of our newest offerings, and that is a Ka'u coffee pour-over single. So again, we're always trying to innovate and keep up with kind of the latest trends. These pour-overs are wildly popular, I think, as you folks know, in Taiwan. They haven't quite caught on in the States here, but it's something that we're promoting very hard and are working towards getting out even more of. Next slide, please. So again, you can see all of our products at www.ka'ucoffeemill.com. Also, as of yesterday, Business Insider did an expose on us. It's about a 10-minute video that we have front and center on our homepage. It's a very good representation of what's going on down here. Really, the pandemic led them to us in the plight of basically coffee in the state because of what the pandemic has done to our industry as a whole. But you can get a little glimpse of our shop and our product line in there. And again, we have a lot of different roasts that we have developed over the years, and they're all very unique and very special. Next slide, please. So green bean. We have, again, 100% Ka'u coffee green bean. We have all grades available, and all certificates are available with our green bean. So we have the optical sorting. So we produce a very high quality product in terms of our green bean. We are the largest producer of Ka'u coffee in the district and are able to supply large quantities of green bean at very reasonable prices to our buyers. Next slide, please. So please inquire for bulk rates and shipping quotes from us. For that, you can email me at lewis@ka'ucoffeemill.com. That's both for green bean and roasted wholesale products. Some of the samples that I sent to you folks, that gives a good representation of our roasted product line. It's something that we do ship out worldwide, and certainly green bean is the same. So we certainly ship that worldwide, and so we have no problem in moving large quantities if need be, or smaller quantities, whatever you folks might need. We can facilitate that for you. And I would say that concludes my presentation today.
Okay, thank you very much,
Thank
Lou.
you.
Sorry,
Thank you. Thank you. In Taipei audience, we just show you the sample, of Ka'u coffee. So for the next presentation, we will also give you the sample as display on the back, and also sample tasting. 我们等一下会传他们的 sample。另外，各位要品尝的话，等一下也有品尝的事宜，麻烦传一下。好，谢谢。Thank you, Ralph.
Okay, thank you, Lou, and yeah, we look forward to getting everybody out to see the Ka'u district when you come out here. It's beautiful here. I live in Ka'u, so I'm biased, but you're gonna enjoy it when you get the chance. Not that the other areas aren't good. Don't kill me, guys. So, speaking of which, we're gonna return to the Kona district, and I'd like to introduce another statewide champion, an honor earned with one of Kona's newer plantings, which is Kona Geisha. So please welcome Greg Still of Monarch Coffee. Greg.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join us. Monarch Coffees, we started our coffee venture actually in Maui, and that's what led us to Gesha. And our first planting of the Gesha out on a commercial basis was here in Kona. So we are in the Kona Coffee District Belt on the Big Island. Our elevation, we're at 500 meters, so we're on the slopes of Honolulu. We have a beautiful rainfall. Every afternoon we have either showers or cloud cover, so that helps our trees flourish. We also have a beautiful view of the Pacific Ocean, and it's quite a spectacular day. All my coffee farmer friends, when we were on Maui, they always said, how come you always pick a nice farm with a nice view? And it's like, well, it's nice to have something to look forward to, but it wasn't by design, it just happened that way. So next slide. We have two distinct and unique varieties. We were instrumental in bringing Gesha through the Department of Ag through a plant quarantine grow out, and then grew that first 2 years crop for seed production for a nursery. And the farm that we partnered with, they were also growing Pacamara at that time. So we did a shared combine between the two farms. So in 2018, we started planting out the first part of our Pacamara. So right now we have 5 acres producing Gesha and 2 acres producing Pacamara. So it's a family-run operation. My daughter, Abby, is the Q grader, bookkeeper, and keeps everybody straight. The smiley guy on the bottom is her husband, Sal, and Sal takes care of the nuts and bolts, not only the equipment, but the people. So we make sure that everything's in line, and it's a good harmony. A lot of times family businesses, they can run into some issues, but we've been together so long that we kind of second guess everybody, and things go forward. So it's been a great relationship. So we are full seed to cup. Everything's done here on the farm. We've just developed a small hoop house nursery where not only are we looking at coffee varietals, but we're also looking for shade storage and bird sanctuary by planting out other trees within the farm. We are 100% stainless steel on all the coffee surfaces that the coffee touches. We use a color cherry sorter that is from Wico. That happens to be my grandson and Abby and Sal's oldest son, Jacob. He's a technician for Wico. So it's nice having that family connection. Then growing up in Northern California, we always visited the wine industries, and I noticed a piece of equipment that they were using to de-stem the grapes and remove the trash. So we ended up taking that piece of equipment, all stainless steel, and designing it as a wash table. So there's 2 separate bodies of water so that we can rinse the coffee. And then the next day when we are having another run, we can use that secondary water back into the first tank. So we're reusing the water. We're also working with an individual here in Kona to hook up a biodigester so that we can remove the solids from the water, use those as plant nutrients, and then reuse that water again in the agriculture as far as a groundwater for irrigation where we need to, and also in the nursery. So we also have flexibility on our drying beds. We have raised beds that nest under one another for storage. Basically, none of our coffee is ever put on the ground or direct contact with concrete. We have drum dryers, and we also use silo dryers when we need to, but the majority of the coffee is all on raised beds within the plexiglass Lexan nursery that you can see on the side there. All of our coffees are individually fermented, 5-gallon buckets at a batch. We use airlocks on all of our coffees. This way we can control the fermentation process throughout the coffee. So we do different varietals. We'll do naturals, a wash natural, we'll do a maceration, and we do honey coffees. We've also been working with Scott Labs on different varieties of yeast that they have commercially, and then new products that they're coming out with. So we're always looking for that new edge that brings out something different and unique in our coffees. So Abby, like I said, is a Q grader, analysis, and our roaster certified. So everything that passes through her eyes, her nose, and her palate before it goes out to the customers. So it's a very important part of the farm. Because we do everything in small batches, we're able to trace everything back to the pickers, the days, and the processing, and even tie that into the rainfall during that period. So the packaging and roasting all takes place on the farm. This was a Petrotrini roaster that we ended up having on our Maui farm that we moved over here. And the knock on wood, it hasn't been giving us too many fits, but it's a new challenge every day in the coffee world, as you well know. So the seed to cup, so from the nursery all the way through the growing, processing, and finalizing the coffee and roasting all happens within the confines of this farm here. So this is our style of, oops, there we are, style of packaging that we do. And we offer both 8 ounce and 1 pound. We also have green coffee available for those folks that wish to partake in it, but the majority of our coffees go out in a roasted form with the micro lots that we do. And I think that pretty much covers my notes. Thank you very much for this opportunity to meet with you folks. And we're excited when it comes time to travel that not only can we come visit you, but you folks can come visit all the great farms here in Hawaii. Aloha.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, Ralph.
Okay, just, I didn't know if he had something there, but okay. Next, we wanted to head to Oahu to meet the islands, the Oahu Island, the island of Oahu, let me say that correctly. Their largest coffee farming operation. So please welcome Michelle Yamaguchi of Wailua Coffee Company.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can see me. I just wanted to take a minute. I know we've all been sitting down for about an hour and a half now. And I think Taiwan is also big into baseball, like Hawaii is. So I would call this the 7th inning stretch. So if you wanted to get up and stretch for a minute, I don't want anybody to fall asleep during my presentation. So if you want to get up and I don't know if Taiwan does this during baseball, but we do in America. So please stretch. Oh, feels good. Okay, no falling asleep. Thank you for having all of us. I think you can see this as just a wonderful group of people. Everybody in Hawaii is friendly. We all have something different and unique to offer. You can see that everybody takes a lot of care and attention and thought and love into what they're making and creating and innovating. So I just wanted to salute everybody presenting today for that. So I hope you all recognize that. Anyway, I will move on with my presentation. So Wailua Estate Coffee is the diversified agriculture of Dole Food Company. And you may recognize Dole Food Company is famous for Hawaiian pineapple. We've been farming in Hawaii since 1901. And we were also farming sugarcane. So once sugarcane shut down, we planted Waialua Estate coffee, and we also planted cacao. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So we have about 67 hectares. It is an Arabica typica which originally was brought over from Kona. We do not have the same elevation that Kona does, but our trees have thrived here for many years now. And we sell both packaged coffee and roasted and packaged. And we also sell green bean, washed and natural also. And those can be state certified for those interested. So again, roasted and packaged that you can sell on your shelves or use in your shop, or green bean that you can roast on your own. Okay, next slide. And this is what our roasted and packaged coffee looks like. So I think you have some samples there that I sent. The blue bag is a North Shore dark roast. The gold bag is medium light roast, and then we have our pea berry. And these are sold in cases, and we are very familiar with both air and sea shipping. So we can assist on that side if you need it. Okay, next slide. We are the only grower on the island of Oahu. These are some of our trees that are flowering in the spring. Next slide. And, you know, we feel that, you know, Waialua Estate, we are exceptional farmers with very good coffee. You can see statewide that specialty coffee is our thing, and, you know, everyone shares information, and I think we've really perfected specialty coffee in Hawaii. I thought this was a fun quote. Today's good mood is sponsored by coffee. And you can see that I just love the fact that coffee starts its life as a fruit. I think most of us, when we drink coffee, we never think that it's a fruit. And if you're interested in more about the coffee industry in Hawaii, its origins and the regions, this is a book that was recently published. This is the 2nd edition. And I know the author is very knowledgeable on Hawaii coffee, and his nickname is Dr. Coffee. Okay, next slide. So these are after every harvest, we are stumping or pruning a big chunk of the farm. And this is so, you know, we don't use pesticides, so it promotes new and healthy growth of the trees. And it takes about 2 years to get a really good yield off of this. So we take these trees out of production for almost, you know, that 2-year period of time, just to avoid that pesticide use and have the higher yields eventually over that time. Next slide. In closing, so that was our coffee. We also grow cacao, and it's very fruity. We make our own chocolate here in Hawaii. So we are Waialua Estate coffee and chocolate. Next slide. This is what our packaging looks like. You can see some cacao pods there and some cocoa beans. So you can see we have elegant packaging, exceptional flavor. We have a 70% dark chocolate, 55 semi-sweet, and a 50% milk chocolate. And next slide. And thank you for attending and giving us this time. And I hope you saw each slide. If you took any photos, I have my contact information and our website on there, whether it's green coffee you're interested in or roasted and packaged. Thank you very much, and aloha.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michelle. And from Oahu's largest coffee farm to the largest coffee farm in the United States, I'd like to bring in Donwa Hayes of Kauai Coffee Company.
Thank you, Ralph.
Well, sorry, in Taipei, we also passing a sample of each coffee company. So now it's a Kauai company, so please.
Yes, sorry, go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning. Aloha, ni hao. My name is Donna Hayes. I'm the business manager for Kauai Coffee. It is my pleasure to be here with you today. I think you have my samples here. This is our packaging. And there should be some products there for you to sample today and to take home with you. So let me just go ahead and share my screen. Okay, well, Ralph already took care of a lot of my presentation today, but as you're learning, there's a lot of coffee grown throughout the state of Hawaii. And here's a map of the island so you could see where we're located on Kauai relative to the very famous Kona region. Kauai is Hawaii's oldest and most northwest island in the chain. And just to give you a feel for the volume within the state, Hawaiian coffee production is very small in terms of global coffee production, very, very small fraction of a percent. And Kauai Coffee Company, we're the largest farm in the state of Hawaii. Our farm produces approximately 1/3 of all the coffee throughout the state of Hawaii. Just to show you a little bit about the island of Kauai, Kauai is known as the Garden Isle, mainly because most of its land is very undeveloped, beautiful, lush rainforests, waterfalls. In fact, the waterfall that you see on the right-hand side there is from Mount Waialeale, which is one of the wettest spots in the world. It receives more than 500 inches of rainfall a year, and it's about 10 miles uphill from our coffee farm. So we enjoy the rich volcanic soil, warm sunshine. We have nice trade winds, cooling our temperature, really providing great conditions to grow our coffee. So as you can see from the photos, it's really a beautiful place. Please do come visit. I know you will enjoy it. And we're very fortunate to call Kauai our home at Kauai Coffee. We've been growing coffee since 1987 on a former sugar plantation. And many of the workers on our farm have been working with us ever since the days when sugar was grown. So you can see on the map, we're located on the south side of the island. We occupy about 5 kilometers by 8 kilometers of space, or 1,255 hectares. And you can see that photo is some of our coffee fields right on the coast. A little bit more about our estate. I spoke a little bit about our size. In terms of production, we make over, we produce over 10 million pounds of coffee cherry each year. We have over 4 million trees on our estate. We grow over 6 varieties of Arabica coffee. I say 6+. There's 6 main varieties that we work with, and then they're always experimenting with new things on the farm, which is pretty exciting. Our farm is also a vacation destination for travelers on vacation to Kauai. We see more than 300,000 visitors a year who come to visit our farm, check out our gift shop, and take a tour of the farm. In terms of our coffee offerings, we do provide 100% single origin coffee. We produce our coffee start to finish or from seed to cup right on our estate, as many of our other speakers do as well. So all of the milling and the roasting and packaging for our 100% coffees takes place there. We are also affiliated with Massimo Zanetti Beverage Coffee Group. They're located on the east coast of the US, and we do send some of our beans over to them to make a Hawaiian blended coffee for use in some markets. And we also do provide our green coffee available for sale as well. This is something that we're really proud of. Kauai Coffee is recently certified from the Fair Trade, Rainforest Alliance, and through Non-GMO Project. So we really try to make great efforts to put our best foot forward and minimize our environmental footprint. And we feel that these certifications will show to customers the efforts that we're making. So Rainforest Alliance is really focusing on environmental, minimizing impacts to the environment, sustainable farming practices. Fair trade is about the livelihood of workers. We have some of the highest paid coffee workers in the world, and we do give back to the community and try to empower our workers. And then of course, Non-GMO Project is works to give consumers an informed choice about whether or not to consume, whether they want to consume genetically modified food. In terms of some specific sustainability efforts that we are undergoing at our farm, in terms of water, we get about half of our water needs from rainfall, and the majority of the rest of our water is supplemented from a hydroelectric dam, which also gives us and some of our neighbors on the island, it powers our electricity. And all of the water that we use in the factory, we do recycle and use out in the field. So we try to minimize our footprint there. We use drip irrigation. We have about 4,000 kilometers of drip tubing all throughout our farm to efficiently apply water and fertilizer out into our fields. We do have about 10 acres of compost area where we process and compost all of our coffee cherry pulp and all of our green waste. And we mulch it up and provide, send it back to our fields to provide nutrients to our trees. We've been planting cover crops throughout the farm. Cover crops are really great because they're a natural deterrent for weeds, and they provide nutrients to our trees. And we also have an agricultural drone. So we utilize technology to monitor the orchard health and determine where we should best put our inputs into the field, and while letting Mother Nature do the rest. In terms of quality, since we are a seed to cup organization, and where the coffee is grown is also where we do all the wet milling, the dry milling, the roasting and the packaging, we are able to control all of those aspects of quality from start to finish, providing a good consistency over time. We have 2 Q graders on staff who manage our roast plant and also manage our in-house QA program. So in terms of quality assurance, we do cuppings and gradings at least 3 times throughout the production process prior to getting inspected. And for every batch of coffee that we make for our consumers, we perform an additional cupping to make sure that that same flavor profile, that same consistent quality is present in every batch of coffee that we make. We're really roast to order, so we have minimal warehousing, and we just want to make sure all the coffee that we send out is the freshest possible. And lastly, we are a food safety certified facility, and we do get annual inspections from them. Okay, price and value. So I think we all know Hawaiian coffee is world recognized for the quality, the flavors, the richness, that wonderful volcanic soil that we are able to enjoy planting our trees in. But it's also a very expensive place to grow coffee. The cost of land and the cost of workers is very high. So therefore, the cost of the coffee is very high. At Kauai Coffee, because we are such a large farm, and because we use machines to harvest and to prune our trees, and because of our use of technology through the agricultural drone, we're able to find efficiencies on some of that labor in some areas to save on cost of our product. So we are able to provide a 100% Hawaiian coffee at a lower price than some of the other coffees that you might be able to find throughout the state. And of course, because we are single origin, we control that process from start to finish. We, manage that quality and that consistency for every batch of coffee that we make. Here's a few photos of some of our placements throughout the state of Hawaii. We are in the majority of chain stores, the club stores throughout the islands. We're very popular with tourists coming to visit Hawaii. We are also in some hotels and some coffee shops and restaurants on the island of Kauai as well. So yeah, we've really developed a good presence for our brand throughout the state of Hawaii. And I'm very excited that we recently just arrived in Taiwan. So we were selected as an item for a coffee event in Costco that just ended on November 8th. And you can see Emily, it's nice to see you in person virtually here, but I just wanted to send a big thank you to Costco and the ATO, and just really appreciate your support of Kauai Coffee through our launch in Costco, Taiwan. We were just thrilled to be there. So in summary, what makes Kauai Coffee special? Because we are single origin from start to finish, you get that consistent quality over time. Our approachable price is something to consider if you're looking for something a little bit more affordable in the Hawaiian coffees. Our efforts in sustainability and our certifications with the Rainforest Alliance and the Fair Trade are, I think, important to many consumers, that as everybody becomes more knowledgeable about coffee, people are wanting to spend their dollars in companies that they believe in. And I think this is something that just helps to preserve our future, and customers can really get behind it. And then now we have some new familiarity with exports to Taiwan. So we've already got kind of one foot in, and we're ready to dive deeper. So with that, I just wanted to say thank you, mahalo. And I do have a short video. Ralph, do I have time to play about 40 seconds of video?
Yes, actually, Tim has the YouTube link because we're having a bit of an issue with the slideshow.
Okay.
So he was able to pick up the slideshow, and he'll queue up the video for you.
Okay. Great. So yeah, that was the end of my slideshow.
Thank you very much, Tom.
Thank you.
And we'll have the video in just a second, folks.
45秒的这个影片介绍啊，现在正在准备中。那么Kauai咖啡算是夏威夷最大的咖啡公司。那前一阵子才在 Costco 啊 ，AIT 协助 Cindy 啊，还有 Emily 协助 Catherine 在 Costco 这边销售的不错。所以这家公司的它是一个非常量产，而且也是一个观光的这个咖啡园区。 所以各位如果是要大量的这个进口的话，Kauai咖啡这个公司是不错的。Commercial is over, Ralph. All right,
Okay,
we got the video.
All right, thank you. It's hard to have Kauai without the iconic roosters, of course. And, you know, in the industry, we get to travel to other islands when we can, but especially for the annual conference, and always look forward to our trips to Kauai. It's a really beautiful island. So we wanted to conclude with one of the Kona District's best known growers of the iconic and heirloom crop of Kona, which is Kona typica. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Suzanne Schreiner of Lionsgate Farms.
Good morning, everybody. Tim, can you cue up my slideshow? Thank you. And thank you, Ralph, for that nice introduction. Next slide, please. One of the most important aspects of coffee, obviously, is the flavor. You're tasting some excellent coffees today. The second most important aspect is our relationship with you. And this is one of the things we specialize here at Lionsgate. My parents started the first farm. They have retired now, but they still live on the farm. In 1993, they began selling coffee direct to consumers. This was before the internet had taken off. In 1997, they founded one of the first websites for coffee in Hawaii. A few years after that, I was working as an engineer, and my parents said that they were interested in retiring. And I said, wait, don't sell the farm. I want to come work coffee with you. And they said, no, there's no future in coffee. Keep being an engineer. We don't want you to become a farmer. At that point, I was aware that the second wave of coffee had begun, and I could see a future in Kona for my family and I. So we, in about the year 2002, we got the second farm, and I began to support my family, my parents, in their business. A few years later, my daughter decided she also wanted to join the family farm. These are my grandsons here in the picture, and we now have 3 farms, and we specialize entirely in Kona, a very family-oriented farm. So next slide, please. We've been doing this for a while. Our trees are about 85 to 100 years old. We specialize in a washed processed coffee. We do some naturals, which are sold out for the year, but if you're interested in them for next season, we can talk to you about that. And we have a lot of experience, not only in growing, but in exporting. We currently have several clients in Taiwan already, and we specialize in micro batches for them. And when you join our family as a customer of Lionsgate, you'll usually deal typically with me directly, and you'll always know exactly who you're speaking with and who, where your coffee is coming from. Next slide, please. We do a green coffee. We can start you out small if you're a coffee shop and wants to just specialize maybe for holidays. We can ship you small lots. We can do bigger lots as well, of course, but we want to help you grow your sales of Hawaiian coffee. So we're willing to start as small as you need. We can ship any way you want, whether it's FedEx, air freight, or even on the smaller batches, we can do US Postal. And we're willing to help you develop marketing materials for selling our Kona in your shop. Next slide, thank you. We also, you haven't had a chance to taste our roasted coffee. We can ship 2 orders. So like many others, we roast when you order. We can do private labeling. Once again, we're willing to do small batches to help you sell this coffee as fresh as you can, and we can turn around and we can get it to you within a few days. If you're a cafe, we can send you 5-pound bags or 25-pound bulk bags of roasted, whatever you need to provide your customers the most value conscious Kona that you can get. Since I'm the last presentation, I know you've heard a lot of excellent ones before, but I'm going to keep it brief. I just did want to say thank you from my family. You can see my large family down there in the corner. If you'd like to contact me, please feel free to at the email there or also the phone number. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have about how we can provide you some excellent coffee and an excellent long-term relationship with Hawaii. Thank you very much.
Thank you. 这家公司呢，他刚刚提到，它是从小的数量啊，如果你要这个进小的数量，或者是大的数量，或者是 private label， 就是可以把您的公司印在上面，他们都可以来配合协助。Thank you, Ralph.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, and thank you to the presenters. Thank you to Suzanne for not listening to your parents. The industry wouldn't be the same if you weren't here. So I didn't want to say that. We hope you've all enjoyed this trip around the islands. We hope it's just the beginning of many trips to come. And at this point, we are happy to answer any questions you may have and kind of get more relationships started between your island and our islands.
Thank you。我们现在时间非常精准啊，我们还有9分钟时间 Q&A， 所以各位有没有什么问题要请教这7位的这个讲者？有没有 ？Any question? Yes.
Since in Taiwan, we could have the highest density of a Q grader and a roaster all around the world, including the micro to nano roasters. If we can have like a public cupping event to present the quality of a Hawaii coffee to the Taiwan specialty coffee market, that will be very helpful for us to understand the quality of Hawaii coffee. And my second question is, under my understanding of after today's beautiful speeches, Hawaii coffee agriculture is quite similar to the Taiwan coffee growing in quality and also in the pricing. If we can have like some event to mixing land together to let the farmer talking with the farmer, I believe it will be very interesting and also a good marketing for both. That's my questions.
Would you like me to respond, Alex?
Yes, Ralph, go ahead.
I first thank you very much for those suggestions. I think they're excellent ideas. I know that before the COVID-19 pandemic, we had discussions between Alex and I and other members of the Taiwan coffee industry about having cupping events preceding the Taiwan Coffee and Tea Show. I think once we're able to travel more freely again, we'd like to revisit that, to do a cupping in person. And without that, maybe we can set up a cupping event if we send the coffee beans over as well. And to the second point, I have been fortunate enough to visit some of the Taiwanese coffee growing regions in years past. I've been to the Pingtung region and also Alishan. I share your assessment that yes, the regions are very similar. And I do think that a farm to farm event would be an excellent idea. I thank you very much for bringing it up. I hadn't thought of it, but when you brought it up and I remembered my visits to those regions, there are a lot of similarities that would be very interesting indeed.
Any other question on the floor? Any other question? If no question, I guess, Ralph, before the event, some of the people talked to me about due to a high demand of Kona coffee in the past. So sometimes the buyers in Taiwan, they have a difficulty to buy the 100% Kona. I don't know if that's still the case or would that be a smooth providing channel for Taiwan market to develop. 那么是在会议之前啊，有些人跟我说，这个过去的 100% Kona coffee 常常缺货，因为这个demand非常高，所以我就请教这个他们未来是不是有这个充足的货源 ？Yes, Ralph, or anybody on the screen.
I'd be happy to open this up to some of our Kona farmers, and I can follow up about some of the other regions as well.
If I can just comment that this is the perfect time to buy Kona. We are right towards the end of our harvest. So there are many individual farmers that you can reach out to through the Hawaii Coffee Association website or the Kona Coffee Farmers Association. And you can develop those personal relationships. Maybe not on a container level, but there is almost always smaller lots or pallets available throughout the year with various farms.
Yes. And if I can follow on that, I know that when we went to the 2019 Taiwan Coffee and Tea Show, we had a audience of roughly 50 individuals who obviously knew about Kona coffee. There were maybe 8 individuals in that audience who knew about Ka'u coffee. and there was no understanding of the other regions in Hawaii. So while we also, of course, want to promote the Kona coffees that we have, which are some really great coffees, we want to continue to open everyone up to the other coffees that are available and that are very good from Hawaii as well. And we're hoping that this can be a continuation of that. So if there aren't necessarily Kona coffees available, there are really excellent coffees from Ka'u, from Oahu, from Kauai, from Maui, and we want to make sure that you get a chance to try those as well.
Yeah, to add to it, that's been just as Susan said, the relationship with the farmer is important. That the farmer needs to be transparent on what's available. They never overcome it. I know that's how we work. We have a certain amount of coffee and we never overcome it actually on the coffee we have, because that's the worst that can happen for the buyer and for us. So that's very important, transparency and relationship with the farmer.
And I did want to mention, I apologize, we have a new feature at the Hawaii Coffee Association website. It's called the HCA Green Coffee Exchange, and I can send that information to Alex after the event to share with everybody. And that's somewhere where farmers can post what lots they have available, and you can have a direct relationship with farmers there as well.
Thank you. Let me do the short translation, if I may. 那么他刚刚提到，就是虽然 Kona Coffee 的这个需求量很高，因为是高品质的精品咖啡，全世界都在抢这个 Kona Coffee， 但夏威夷还有其他很多岛，它的咖啡也一样是非常好，而不一定是100%在 Kona 产地。那刚刚另外一位这个农场主人他就说呢，建立关系很重要，就是跟这些的农场直接有一些的建立关系是非常重要。那另外，所以我们在这个表上面我们有上面有列了7家公司，麻烦各位最后填一下最后一页，你希望跟哪一间公司联络？那么我们会把您的讯息转达给他们。Thank you, Rolf. Without any question, how about Hawaii participants? Do you have any questions or no?
Yes,
okay.
From Hawaii, anyone on the floor is open. If you would like to ask a question of the group in Taiwan, please feel free.
Okay. Yeah, Sabrina. Sabrina have a question here? Yes.
Hello, good morning, Ralph. Good morning, Greg. Long time no see. Yeah, I'm Sabrina. Yeah. I just wonder because yes, of course, we have a lot of demand for 100% Kona coffee here, but you know that in Taiwan, we have lots of different variety of coffee from different countries, different state. And how do you think that HCA or Hawaiian State could help us to make Kona coffee more price competitive here? Because as we tried this 2 years, although the demand is strong, but the price sensitive customer, they're still very, concerned about price. And do you think is any way that you could help us to make it more price competitive here? Thank you.
Greg, if you wanted to speak first, that'd be fine. Sorry, I'm moving out of the way of the weed whacking here.
We've been looking at cost and different shipping options. With COVID, it's given us a lot of free time to look into the things that we haven't been able to address in the past. But Abby and I were working over those things now. So, and we're taking a look at our harvest. We're probably halfway through, whereas I know a lot of farms are already, wrapping up here on the Kona side. So yes, Sabrina, we'll take a look at that and we can reach back out to you.
And thank you, Greg. To follow up, Sabrina, what you said, yes, it's very true that similar to Taiwan, there's labor costs and cost of production that are going to make Hawaii coffees more expensive on average than what you'll get in several other growing regions. What some of the regions that we talked about today can offer is lower price points due to mechanical harvesting or different elements that allow them efficiencies in the way that they price their coffee. I think these are things that the more we're able to build our relationship between the Taiwan industry and the Hawaii industry, we can point out that give a good sense of what kind of value you can get relative to the price that you'll pay for Hawaiian coffees. So there's a lot of other reasons, of course, it may not be the same as something from Brazil, let alone Colombia, Guatemala, Costa Rica. But I think that we can show a lot of good value for the price that you get. And that's part of our mission here, is to show that value.
Well said, Ralph. Thank you. And thank you for putting this together, everybody. This has been a great afternoon, well spent, and a great morning for you folks too, we hope. Thank you again.
Well, in closing, we would like to thank Hawaii Coffee Association, also 7 Company. You guys did a wonderful presentation, and we appreciate it. You sent a sample over, and while your speech, we're passing around your sample to our audience, and some of you do provide a good numbers of sample, which we will treat it as a giveaway for our participant to take home. But most importantly, like one of the presenters said, the relationship building is vital for the coffee business. So we hope this is just a good beginning to bridge Taiwan buyers and also with Hawaii farmer. For that, I thanks Hawaii Coffee Association, our presenters, DBEDT, and also Tico Halululu. Thank you, Director General Michael Zeng and James Huang. Thank you for your time. And we will collect your question sheet after this event. And then later on, we will have a tea break. So please stay and join. Let's exchange idea, get to know each other a little bit better. And we also have sample tasting. So please join us later. Once again, thank you, everybody. Mahalo and goodbye, Hawaii. Mahalo.
Hello.
Thank you.
Thank you. JJ.
Bye. 谢谢。那么我